Investors and economists are braced today for developments on Wall Street. The market took a nosedive on Friday, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average losing more than 140 points. It was the third largest decline in market history, and according to analysts, could trigger more instability in the market today. In Tokyo, Japan's central bank intervened again to shore up the U.S. dollar. The dollar closed at 128.5 yen. That's a little higher than Friday's close in New York. Japanese stocks closed down in apparent reaction to Wall Street's drop on Friday. West German police today arrested a 27-year-old West Berlin woman whom they say was behind the disco bombing that killed 2 American servicemen back in 1986. Police say she planted the bomb in the West Berlin disco on behalf of a Palestinian terrorist who may also have Libyan connections. President Reagan blamed Libya for that bombing, and he ordered an attack on Tripoli and Benghazi 10 days later in retaliation. Meantime, 22 suspected terrorists went on trial this morning in Paris under very heavy security. All are members of the terrorist organization Direct Action. The 22 are charged with political conspiracy. Direct Action has claimed responsibility for 6 murders and more than 80 attacks since 1978. The trial expected to last about 2 weeks. Independent counsel Lawrence Waltz, or representatives from his office, will reportedly question Vice President.
It's dangerous to fish, but levels here are 10 to 15 times that.
In cold weather, the oil does not break down as quickly, and it's very thick, it's very viscous, and it will hang along the riverbanks, and it could go on for easily a couple of months as people, or as the rivers try to get cleaned up on their own.
Game Commission officials say the spill has killed hundreds of birds and small mammals, too. Volunteers are collecting dozens of geese and ducks and bringing them to treatment centers to be cleaned. Currently, the oil slick appears stalled near Wheeling, West Virginia, where city water supplies are low, and environmental officials say there is little they can do to remove the oil from the water. But they are hoping it will move on and dissipate quickly as the slick travels down the Ohio River towards the Mississippi. As the investigation of the tank collapse enters its 2nd week, experts say it could be years before the river as an ecosystem totally recovers. Jennifer McLogan, NBC News, Pittsburgh.
And the Soviet Union made it official this morning. The government announced in Moscow that it will indeed send teams to compete in the Olympics in Seoul in September. 6:30 after 8. Here's Brian.
All right, John, thanks for that. It'll be first time since 72.
It is gorgeous. The whole Northeast is gorgeous this morning, but other parts of the Northeast aren't faring as well as we are in the mid-Atlantic states. It's like 18 below zero this morning up at Concord, New Hampshire. That's a little bit on the chilly side. We are here with the 10th annual Winter Special Olympics. These are young people from the great state of Virginia. This happens all over the country. This just happens to be near Charlottesville, Virginia, right in the Blue Ridge Mountains at Wintergreen. And look what I have found, a real jewel up here in these eastern Rockies, we call them. Billy Kidd not only is a great Olympic skier, but he's also a fellow who works with Olympics. Billy, the sweetheart of Steamboat Springs, good morning.
Thank you, Willard. It's nice to see you out here on the slopes. We've got some really good skiers here. These guys are going to be going for gold medals over the next couple days in the Special Olympics here.
How did you get hooked up with Special Olympics?
Well, we figured that if they can swim and they can play volleyball, that they ought to be able to learn how to ski. And we found that Special Olympians really learn how to ski quickly. They have a great attitude. They say, this looks like fun, let's try it, and they do it and love it.
Well, you enjoy what you do, obviously, so much. We're going to see how your students perform in just a second. First of all, I'll do the weather, if you don't mind.
All right, good.
Is weather critical to the ski resorts? Do they care about forecasts and all that?
Well, you see, they can make snow, but we were happy that you brought some snow with you here.
I make snow jobs on the air with the weather. Let's check the act and see what we have indeed. For our thousands of weather fans, as I say, it's a beautiful, crisp, clear morning in the Northeast. However, there is a Pacific Northwest storm. That's the big weather story, I think, today. Gale flags are flying along the coast from San Francisco up to Seattle. There's rain along the coast, snow inland in the northern Rockies and the Great Basin, also the Cascades of Washington and Oregon. Winter storm watches and warnings in effect. Only about 8 additional inches. They can handle that. Windy on the eastern slopes of the Colorado foothills. That's not bad. Fog today in the Tennessee Valley and the central part of California and southern and central Florida, and snow expected in the western Great Lakes and in the interior of New York and New England this afternoon. More flurry activity. The good news is all week long, weather will be warming up in the southeast, southern Texas, and in the desert southwest. How sweet it is, and I'm glad to be home. Let's check the act and see what's happening in your world this morning.
Nice weather this week in Pittsburgh, and today, plenty of sunshine with a high of 31. I'm Bill Cardill. Join me on Channel 11 News for our complete AccuWeather forecast.
300 young people from the state of Virginia will be competing in the Winter Olympics. Billy Kidd, #1 star of Steamboat Springs. You've taught some of these kids. Let's see what they can do.
All right, guys. You want to go skiing? Yeah. All right, let's go.
As they go down the slopes here, you see Walton's Mountain in the background, Mr. Jefferson's, Virginia. What a spot to ski, and what a great team of champions skiing as they go down for the gold, the silver, and the bronze. Now, Bryant's in New York, and he's always a winner.
Willard, thank you.
Only one place to shop for clothes, Paris. The shows may not always absorb you, but boredom plays a small part in the life of Germany's best known, best loved, and most eccentric aristocrat.
Ach du lieber Gott.
She cares little for the stuffy constraints of her position and has raised eyebrows across Europe with her antics. But she has also given serious thought to some of the great issues of the 1980s.
The most diplomatic thing is to make the man who works for us feel that he is actually the ruler. And as soon as you give him that importance, he will do anything for you. Only if a woman is devoted to a man, ready to close his shoes, then she will be queen of him. And at this point, she can do everything.
When Gloria married her prince, who's 34 years her senior, there was much relief in Bavaria that the 500-room castle had a mistress again. The conservative local people quickly came to terms with the princess's more surprising pastimes. She has 75 domestic staff, but likes to oversee their work personally. How, for example, should the catfish be cooked for dinner tonight? And are the shrimps, specially flown in from Australia, fresh? In another wing of the castle, Herr Bachmann tends to the prince's 300 clocks. It's his sole job, and one that he's been doing for 57 years now. Oblivious to all the behind-the-scenes action, the prince is out hunting pheasants with his guests, most of whom are fellow mid-European aristocrats. Over 300 birds are killed during the day, sometimes in rather less than sporting circumstances.
Yes.
But this is more than merely a sport, it's a tradition. Being head of the hunting band is the oldest form of authority known to Western culture. There are probably a dozen houses in Europe that can entertain on anything like this scale, but there are none that can match the style of Princess Gloria.
This is not a ball, this is just a simple hunting weekend, so I mean there's not really a big deal. I mean, we're having a beautiful dinner and our tables are always set so that everybody is so happy, because there are no houses in Germany anymore that do that set up, that have the servants and the motivation of them doing all that work that is required to really make such a beautiful scenery. No government can do that. So it's very tacky when they do it, because they try and they don't know how to. We are only 30 people tonight, which makes a nice atmosphere. And the high point is also that I have Prince's father playing the piano for us.
Not her husband, the prince's father, note, rather the father of the rock star prince, who's one of Gloria's more flamboyant courtiers. No evening at the castle would be complete without a game of bowls. something that seems to come naturally to arms-dealing guest Adnan Khashoggi.
Grab your coat and get your hats, leave your worries on the doorstep, just direct your feet.
All the guests feel that they have to contribute to the evening's entertainment, spurred on by a lady whose life revolves around the giving and receiving of pleasure.
I'm a very, very happy person. And that is also a secret why my friends have such a good time with me, because they feel that here is somebody that is completely happy with himself and therefore can make other people happy too.
In 2 years' time, she's going to make every postman happy. To celebrate her husband's family's involvement in the postal service, she's giving a party for every single mailman in the world. Bryant?
Thanks, Charles. We're back after a break. This is Today on NBC.
Allegheny General, exploring the frontier within.
Cancer is a disease that strikes the body in many different ways. Cancer cells that are found early can be treated most effectively before they do extensive damage to the body. For example, new magnetic resonance imaging can take pictures of tumors that we could not see before. Another new and sophisticated diagnostic tool is advanced flow cytometry. Using lasers linked to computers, we are able to study individual cells as they begin to change. While scientists strive to increase our ability to diagnose and treat cancer, the best advice is regular visits to your family physician and a healthy lifestyle.
Ask your doctor for more information.